Good morning. Today's news story details the devastating impacts of the third major coral bleaching along the Great Barrier Reef. Now, you're probably wondering, what is coral bleaching? Coral bleaching, a result of climate change, occurs when coral reefs are exposed to condition changes such as temperature, light exposure, and lack of nutrients. The reefs undergo too much stress, so they release algae, causing them to lose all of their color and turn white. With an increased amount of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, temperatures have been exponentially increasing for decades. This causes ocean temperatures to rise and coral reefs to bleach. More than half of the world's coral reefs are already bleached. So let's hear from Mr. Parker to learn more about coral reefs and their importance.
Thank you, Mrs. Shemi. I'm currently inside a helicopter right outside Australia looking down on the once Great Barrier Reef. The coral reefs are really important to our ecosystem as they remove carbon dioxide from the ocean to build their hard outer skeletons. They provide nitrogen and essential resources for the wildlife living among them. Finally, coral is a keystone species, so it is very important that we protect them. Coral reefs are essential in the process of recycling carbon dioxide from the ocean and serve as a unique habitat for many creatures who aren't able to live anywhere else because they rely on coral for protection. On a more economic note, the Great Barrier Reef generates more than $1.5 billion each year off of fishing and tourism alone. You may be wondering why you should care back at home. Many organisms living in the coral reef provide unique compositions for medicinal purposes and food. They also protect coastlines nearby from wave damage and tropical storms. Coral bleaching causes the coral to, as Ms. Hashemi stated, they turn white and they release their algae. This makes them more susceptible to damage, and if they are unable to recover, which is very difficult, they will die. Back to you, Mrs. Shumi.
Thank you, Mr. Parker. Now let's hear from Ms. Ruxtel about the protection of the reefs and how to prevent coral bleaching in the future.
Thank you, Ms. Hashimi, for that lovely introduction. At the moment, I'm on a coral restoration expedition. We're heading out to the most damaged parts of the coral reefs, and I'm going to watch these lovely people today plant some coral. While they're diving under, I will be talking about a few topics related to helping our coral reefs be as healthy as possible. First, I'm going to be talking about a few large coral reef protection groups. The United Nations Environment Program is one of the main programs for environmental protection. This program covers multiple issues regarding the environment, not only coral bleaching. They spread awareness by hosting the Global Program of Action for the protection of the marine environment from land-based activities and by making protected marine locations. Another large organization is the Coral Restoration Foundation. They spread science and knowledge, and they also have many ways that people can get involved. Every year, they host a fundraising gala and many large coral planting events. Check them out at www.coralrestoration.org. Many scientists are also looking into healthy fisheries, monitoring water, and how evolution can help coral reefs survive. Now, this prevention is not only at a large scale. There are simple things that you can do in your everyday life to help out. When looking for sunscreen, try and find a reef-safe logo. This means that the chemicals in the sunscreen do not contribute to coral bleaching and do not affect the coral reef. Good practices also include cutting down on plastic usage, practicing safe and responsible diving and snorkeling, recycling, having a more eco-friendly travel means, and spreading the word. Back to you, Ms. Hashimi.
Thank you, Ms. Ruxtel. Coral bleaching is something that humans have been ignoring for decades, and we've only recently started to take preventative measures described by Ms. Ruxtel. Genocides all over the world have been ignored by international parties, similarly to this situation. Humans may think that coral bleaching doesn't affect us when it actually helps cycle CO2 out of the atmosphere. Even though the Great Barrier Reef is in Australia, they are a keystone species in the ocean, and we need coral reefs for the survival of the underwater ecosystem. Without them, life underwater would be changed forever. That's all for today. We'll see you tomorrow with updates on COVID-19.